Everybody, Rick here with Musicians Edition. We're on page 22 today, so we're making good progress. I hope you are keeping up with everything and continuing to practice. Remember that continuing to practice and playing consistently will make you a better player and you will enjoy playing much more. I wanted to, before we get into the page, talk a little bit more about tonguing and make sure that you are tonguing and making sure that you're doing it the correct way and the best way possible. So remember, it's saying ta as you blow. And one of the really important things about tonguing correctly is to always keep blowing. You do not want to stop your air in between tonguing and do something like this. So that way I'm stopping my air in between tonguing. You want to blow continuously like you're playing whole notes. So when the tone stops, it's because your tongue is on the reed, not because your air has stopped. Your air is right behind the tongue. So as soon as the tongue withdraws from the reed, the sound will start. So a good way to practice that is to take a big breath and just pick a note. I'm playing C right now, and let your tongue come on and off of the reed, stopping the reed, but the air remains consistent. All right, on to page 22. At the top of the page, there are two new notes, but they're not really new because we did play them on the very first page of the book. But we haven't played them lately. So these are A and G, and these are lower A and lower G, so no thumb. A is 2 fingers of the left hand, no thumb key. G is 3 fingers of the left hand and no thumb key. And so 85, called a warm-up. Notice 3 beats in a measure, and make sure you tongue at the beginning of the slur marks. And here we go. 3-beat count off. 1, 2, 3. And do your best to play the first 4 measures in one breath. Take a breath where the breath mark is. Take another breath, and then continue on. Play the next 4 measures connected in a slur in one breath. And you may want to practice that more slowly and then work up to that. All right, 86, full of hot air. This one does not have a B flat in the key signature, so the B's will be B natural, first finger of the left hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember to pay attention to dynamic markings, louds and softs. And notice that at the end of measure 2 and the end of measure 6, there's a whole note with a breath mark. What you don't want to do is you want to try to make that whole note as close to 4 full beats as you can, taking a slight pause for a quick breath. not a 1 beat or even more pause for a breath. All right, at 87, we do have 2 new notes. So this is high B and high C. Notice that B has a ledger line underneath it. A ledger line extends the staff, makes more lines. And so B has a ledger line underneath it. C has a ledger line through it and one underneath it. And so these are high notes. So the thumb key is in use on this B and this C. So the high B sounds like this. And high C. All right, and then we have an exercise, number 87. I'm going to slow down the metronome a little bit. All right, here we go, number 87. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, and then we have a C major scale skill. So this is the C major scale. A scale involves consecutive notes, and this one starts on C, it goes up to C, and it comes back down. And then on the second line, we have an arpeggio. An arpeggio is an outline of a scale, including notes that would be played within a chord. The notes in the arpeggio are C, E, and G. And an arpeggio is an outline of a chord. Since we can't play several notes at once on the saxophone, like you can on a guitar or a piano, where you can play those notes together, then we outline the chord instead of playing the chord as one sound. So an arpeggio is the outline of a chord. All right, so here we go, number 88. 1, 2, 3, 4. The last 2 measures, it says chords. The way a full band can play chords is that different instruments can play different notes at the same time, creating harmony. And so if you were to play this exercise with a full band, those last 2 measures would create chords along with the other instruments. All right, the man on the flying trapeze, 3 beats in a measure. We do have a B flat in the key signature, and we have a pickup note. The pickup note is beat 3. You can find the rest of that measure at the end of the song. At the end of the second measure, there are only 2 beats. At the end of the second ending, there are only 2 beats in the last measure. The third beat is at the beginning. And I'm going to slow this down just a little bit more. So the count off for this song will be 2 beats, and then we're in on beat 3. Remember to play B as B flat. Here we go. 1, 2. Number 90. 90 is an exercise that allows you to write in some notes of your own. And so where the quarter notes and the eighth notes and the dotted half notes are above the staff, the small ones, is telling you to put in a note that you'd like to put in. And so this is your chance to compose a little bit and make the song sound the way you want it to. So what I suggest you do is learn the rest of the song, and then as you come to the empty spots, try some different notes and see what you think sounds good, and it's up to you what you put in there. All right? So you can work on that on your own. We will go to number 91 for tenor saxophones only. So B flat in the key signature, notice the slur marks. We have several eighth notes. I'm going to slow our metronome down. Here we go. And a little slower. Lots of eighth notes. 1, 2. Ready. Play. All right, so practice that one little by little. A good way to practice that would be to break it up into smaller sections. Maybe practice 2 measures at a time or 4 measures at a time before you play the whole thing. That's a more efficient way to practice. Isolate certain sections and then go back and play it all together rather than just keep playing the whole thing from the beginning to the end. All right, good luck on page 22, everybody, and I will see you next time for page 23.